So, couple of ways then of looking at this, and we've touched on them already. So you have outgoing. So this is where the company has created some technology and wants to offer it out. So, although I don't know the exact details of this, but as a top level example, you have Google will offer, Google acquired Android, the company which created that operating system for mobile phones. So Google now offers Android operating system licenses to mobile phone handset manufacturers. So I'm sure one of us here has got a mobile phone that runs the Android operating system. That wasn't developed by HTC or Sony or whichever brand of phone you have. That was developed by a Google company, Android, and they offer out licenses to the manufacturer. And it's, although I don't know the details, it's probably on the basis of a royalty. So when a mobile phone is sold with that operating system, they get, you know, a few dollars or a few pounds or whatever it might be as a royalty on that sale. So that's an outgoing one. Developed something, but I can't fully exploit it myself. I'm going to offer it out via to partners who can turn it into value. And then I'm going to skim off a little bit of that value via a royalty agreement or something like that. Yes?
Apparently with Android licenses, they're free.
Oh, they're free, are they?
You give it away free. That's why they've got such widespread adoption. They control the apps market. That's why they make money.
Okay, so the operating system is a loss leader really to drive apps. A bit like the almost a bit like the printers that we were talking about in the last session, where the printer manufacturers offer the printers out at very low cost to try and drive printer cartridge sales to drive that market. Okay, so it's actually free. Okay, so it's actually a bit more complicated than I explained.
But they're still wanting money. You know,
they're getting another way.
They worked out a deal that was going to make them a lot of money.
Yeah, right. So incoming is really the converse of that. So the company is seeking to acquire technology from the market. So you can imagine things like this. So, you know, as part of the CPU deal between Intel and Dell Computers, Dell would be granted a license to apply the Intel Inside trademark logo on the outside of the PC casing. So that's benefit to both parties there. So you can have incoming or collaborative developments where two companies both bring something to the party, which together creates something which neither could realistically do independently. So an example of this would be, thinking of mobile phones again, so Sony Ericsson is a joint venture company, a collaborative company, which was put together by Sony with huge consumer electronics expertise and a Scandinavian company, Ericsson, who were experts in communication. So you can imagine if you bring together communication expert and consumer electronics expertise, you've perhaps got the vital elements to create mobile phone technology. And so that was, they both recognized the value in each other, that they weren't competitors in their core markets, and they could create a joint venture or collaborative development company in the middle to generate value from their core knowledge that neither of them could independently have generated. So, if you're considering outgoing tech transfer, so you have some knowledge or some branding or some capability that you for whatever reason, maybe for risk reasons, you can't fully convert yourself. Then you may choose to think about outgoing tech. We've already talked about some of these examples. For some of these reasons, if it's a product, things like production line tooling, QA, lots of capital cost, lots of ongoing expense you might not fancy or might not be able to actually put in place. And services, yes, you can imagine things like call centres lots of staff, they all need to be very well trained, and then you have lots and lots of marketing to do. So, you know, providing services can be quite an expensive business. And we talked about the headlights in torches or in PC projectors or whatever. So again, it's not easy to think about examples for these because very often these are deals which are tucked away and are not very often, unless you really sort of follow the financial press or investor press, you might not come across these types of things. But can anybody think of any companies who maybe have got a technology that they offer out to others, which they can use in their own products? And I've got one for you, but can anybody think of any?
Well, in the pharmaceutical area I'm in, there's, you know when you take a gel capsule, like with fish oils in,
Yes.
that used to be made of gelatin,
Right.
which was animal sourced. Now there's a company that's developed a synthetic gelatin capsule in the last few years. So in the majority of cases when you take a gelatin capsule, it's not gelatin, and that company has licensed out the technology to other pharmaceutical manufacturers.
Yes, to Seven Seas or whoever it might be to
Exactly.
make the retail. Oh, right, okay, good, perfect, yeah. Okay, any others? Well, I've got one for you, which is Gore-Tex, or Gore, the company Gore, who you'll be familiar with from, you know, perhaps not from the company itself, but you know the name, and you know that they make high-end waterproof, breathable coats. So Gore hold the IP, hold the technology associated with Gore-Tex material. And they will then issue manufacturing licenses to companies like Berghaus or whoever it might be to make clothing using the materials. And there'll probably be, with the license, there'll probably be a transfer of manufacturing expertise as well to say, you know, don't stitch them like this, stitch them like that. Be careful of how much heat you apply to these if you're doing a different form of joining, welding, or whatever it might be, because you degrade the material. So there'll be degrees of expertise almost certainly associated with utilisation of the product, transferred across with a license to buy and use the product in coats, in boots, in shoes, whatever it might be. So you can imagine that Gore have probably got licenses with dozens of different companies. And you see Gore-Tex appearing in all sorts of products where it hasn't been available before. And that's an indication that there's another license being signed, another company has been helped to apply the material to a glove or to a hat or whatever it might be. And so, you know, Gore have spotted an opportunity and they've issued another license into another area. And it could well be that would be a very narrow license. So it may be to a company to say you're only allowed to make gloves using our material because we've already got a license with maybe an exclusive license with, for example, Berghaus. So they're the only company who are allowed to make rainwear or outside jackets using Gore-Tex. So you mustn't go in that direction. So your license allows you to make gloves from this. So it allows a degree of control as well.
Gore's quite a fascinating company as well because they've got a lot of R&D and innovation, and they even make guitar strings. They go from gloves to, you know, a massive wider range. So they actually sell those licenses in more than just the, you know, textiles.
Right.
It's over massive markets.
Okay, and I understand this is actually quite an interesting. I haven't got a sort of a corroborative or a definitive definition of this, but my understanding is that somebody else developed this polymer before Gore did, but they chose to keep a trade secret, and they didn't really do anything with it. And then Gore independently discovered this polymer, or this way of treating a particular polymer to create this material structure, and they actually managed to get a patent on it. And that patent was challenged because arguably the original inventor had got prior art. But that challenge was actually thrown out because the inventor hadn't actually properly used the invention to, if you like, bring society, or he hadn't actually used it to offer out into the public or out into the market to utilise the invention. And so that individual was perceived not to have capitalised or not to have utilised their position appropriately, and their challenge was thrown out, and Gore's patent was reinforced, as it were, even though there was actually another company or another individual who actually developed it first. So it's quite an interesting one there, and into the murky depths of what inevitably comes with IP, which is about rights and who has ownership of ideas, etc.
But they're kicking themselves now.
Yeah. There's loads of fabrics that have been developed like that, and it's happened.
Right, in similar ways.
Yeah.
That it's been developed, but nothing's been done with it, and somebody else patents it.
Yeah. 'Cause it's usually the small designers that do the development, can't afford to put it out there, and then some big company comes along and
Okay.
does it. And
So you haven't got any, have you?
maybe.
Yeah, don't mention it, don't say it.
Right. Keep it under your hat.